Today's topic is multidimensional healing, once again with your astral version. But in this one, we're going to talk through sometimes there is a really heavy need that you have, and how the universe just kind of pops in to help and answer it for you. And so, in the first experience, I was in Sedona last year. It was the retreat I was in May. And the retreat was 3 days. And then after that, I stayed for a couple of weeks and did some hiking and just, grounding myself in nature and enjoying Sedona. And then I went to come home. And when I went to come home, once I got on the plane and we took off and started flying back, it began to feel very strange to me. I started to feel like, was I even there? And there was one point I just closed my eyes and everything got quiet. And I thought, I'm not even on this plane right now. I don't know quite what's happening. So I would open my eyes and it would be very quiet. And I would just look, and then the noise would come back in. But I just started to feel a little more and more out of sorts. And once we landed, I was still feeling off. I had an Uber, thankfully, that drove me home. And I went to bed once I got home, went to sleep, got up the next day, and I kept having these moments of just being completely ungrounded. And I kept trying to pull my energy back, but nothing I tried was working. Absolutely nothing was working. And so, it would go in and out, and I had one day and then a second day. Well, the third day that I woke up, it was pouring down rain outside. And as I walked from my downstairs and I stepped down into my living room, all of a sudden I felt like I was coming undone. I did not feel like I was there, like my energy was split and it was gone. And I was not sure like how to pull this energy from me back in. I'd never been split like that before. And I'm just sitting there like thinking I may just leave my body and be out and be gone. But in a moment, the retreat shaman, he came in. His astral self just showed up, and he took one look at me and he grabbed me by my hand. And then he took my astral version out with him, out into the rain. And we got really small, and we went into a drop of rain. And I watched us. I saw us as we just went down into the ground. And then we kept going down in the ground, and I was seeing layer after layer after layer of this earth until we reached some place where the shaman told me to wait. And then he went and retrieved this beautiful white crystal, and he came back and he took my hand, and then we went back up through layer, and we went all the way back up till we were right under my house. And when we were right under my house, he took that crystal and he placed it there. And then I saw the bottom floors of my house, the energy go up and shoot across the floors of my house. And then it went up the walls and it shot all the way around my house. Then it went down to the ground and shot out from the ground and started going down to the neighbors. Then the shaman, he took me, put me back in my body, and he disappeared, and I was fine. Now, what had happened was I was splintered on timelines. And I had been told while I was in Sedona, I knew I was going to have to move, but I didn't know where I was going to move. And while I was in Sedona, the answer finally came in that I needed to move to the West Coast. And mind you, I lived in Georgia at that time. And a piece of me had already gone ahead to this West Coast and started preparing everything. Like, this is where I was going to live. And then there was a piece of me that was still in this timeline in Georgia that had felt very inauthentic, like I wasn't supposed to be there. The energy felt heavy. Nothing felt right about it. And so he had to come ground enough for me to pull me back together so I could do the things I needed to do before I could actually go to that timeline that I had, just, I would say, probably got overzealous. And there's a part of me that said, yes, and I went running. But that is not something that the mastering of this physical body and its energy into all kinds of multiple timelines and multiple places is something that takes some skill to get acclimated into doing, and to do it effectively, and not worry about yourself being splintered. I definitely was not there on that day. It was just not something I had encountered before. But as we continue on in our multidimensional living, these experiences and different things that can happen, understanding our energy, where it is and why it's where it is, and how do we pull it back, and how do we get help when we need it. Those are very important things to know. And I'll just say that, I remember grabbing myself and holding it, because I really thought I was going to just go out everywhere. But that call, I sent a call out. My physical self, my astral self, I would say, sent a call out, and the shaman of the retreat, he answered it. And so that's one experience. And now I'm going to give you an experience where I was on the receiving end of someone's astral self that was searching desperately for help for their physical body. And so one night I'm sitting here, this is back in November. So I'm on my social media, and it's about midnight, and I'm like taking one last look when I've got to go to bed. And I see the name of this woman that I know who she is, but I don't personally know her. And the moment I'm reading her name, it's like I just see this kind of in and out, where this energy comes in, and the next thing I know, I'm out in the astral realm looking at her astral self, and she's asked me with all this concern on her face, "Can you help me, please?" And then I look over and I see her energetic body on this, like, what we would say maybe is an operating table. She's laying on it, and there's so much stuff on this body. So I go over to immediately try to help. And there is this like really dark, terrible energy in her root and sacral chakra. So I'm pulling out as much of that as I can. She has bindings that are all over her hips, her legs, and I'm pulling those off. She has spurs in her nervous system, and I'm pulling those out. So there was just so much stuff that was there. And for 30 minutes at least, I'm pulling as much stuff out of her as I could. And then it reached a point where whatever I could take out, I had taken out. There was no way I was going to get all of it. It just wasn't the right time for everything to come out of her. But I took as much stuff off of her as I could. And the one thing I will say is that was just, really I found beautiful was the astral version of this person, where she watched everything I did meticulously, watched every moment of everything I did. And she had so much concern and love on her face for herself, for her body. She knew what this physical version of her was going through. And she was doing everything she could to help her. And watching that kind of love was absolutely beautiful. So then when I'm finished, as much as I'm allowed and I can take off of her, and she looks at me and just kind of like nods, she knows it's over. And then I just see her rush to her physical, to her energetic body, and they go, and then I'm back on my couch and exhausted. I mean, it was a lot of energy work, but that is just another experience of having this type of, we have ways to energetically connect to someone that can help us. And so tuning into yourself and understanding your vibration and understanding, is this something that's good for me and not good for me? Is this something that's real? Is this something that's not real? Those are all things that your own internal self can feed to you, but it can't do that if it's not clear. And so getting yourself clear then enables you to be able to more consciously see these other types of healings that can happen. And you just never know if you'll be the one called to help or the one that needs help. It's a very symbiotic relationship where we give and take and we do whatever's needed. So anyway, if you're interested, I do have some sessions available on my website, and you can check it out. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video where we continue our talk through all these crazy experiences and things that can happen in our multidimensional living, our conscious multidimensional living.